Why is it that breaking bad habits feels like climbing a mountain, while falling into them feels like sliding downhill? Let me ask you something. How many times have you told yourself, this is the last time, only to find yourself repeating the same habit the next day? Whether it's biting your nails, procrastinating, endless scrolling of reels on your phone, skipping workouts, it's like a never ending cycle. Absolutely feels like that, right? I'm Hitesh Bhatia, an energy therapist and the founder of Joining Hands. I'm here to tell you two things. You're not alone. Bad habits aren't a sign of weakness. They're a natural part of how your brain works. You can break free. The key isn't about being more disciplined. It's about understanding why habits stick and how you can rewire them. In this video, we're diving deep into the psychology and the science behind habits, why they're so hard to break, and 3 simple practical strategies that can help you create long-lasting change. Grab a notebook because this might be the first step to transforming your life. Are you ready? Let's go. First one, why do we have bad habits and why do they stick? Here's the truth. Bad habits aren't signs of weaknesses. People think, oh, I'm so weak, I'm not strong enough, I can't do this. They're basically patterns that your brain has been wired to flow. When you look at an electrical circuit board, if you open your fuse box at home, there are so many wires. How do you know which one connects to that? Our brain is like that. There are so many wires inside the brain that are connected to different things. For example, let me give you my own experience. I used to smoke, and when I smoked, I realized that there were multiple ways and multiple things and multiple timings that I needed to smoke for. For example, meeting up with friends called for smoking. After a good meal, called for smoking. What happened was, I had to break multiple patterns, not just one. Every habit, good or bad, starts as a solution to a problem. I started this smoking as a solution to my problem of dealing with authority. I started this because I used to get stressed, or I had different things to deal with at that point of time. A lot of us eat junk food or scroll through the phone for hours because we're avoiding something. We feel bored. We might light up a cigarette or binge watch a series just to overcome something else. So it's actually not a bad habit. This has been an answer or a solution to a problem. Habits form because they offer us a quick reward, a quick mental reward. Even if the long-term consequences are negative, the reward makes us feel so good. This cycle, the cue, the routine, the reward, the trigger, the routine, the reward, is what keeps the bad habits alive. The very first step to breaking a bad habit is to understand what's driving it. So in your notebook, write this down. What triggers this behavior? What's a trigger? A trigger is something that starts it, like a spark. For example, I'm going back to my smoking example, when I had a fabulous meal and I felt, oh God, maza aa gaya, abhi cigarette chahiye. So a full meal triggered that habit, that behavior. When I get stressed or I've had a long day, I want to eat junk food. That's my trigger. So figure out what triggers this bad habit, this behavior within you. The second thing to do is ask yourself, what reward am I getting from it? Now this is the tough one because the rewards are not conscious. Since we are always in the problem, we never really look at the solution. What you can do is just close your eyes. Believe me, this is no meditation, no jargons. Just close your eyes. We all do it, right? When we sleep, when we need to pray, or when we just are bowing down our head, we close our eyes. When you close your eyes, you open up your eyes to your within, to your mental voices in your head. Ask yourself, what reward am I getting from it? When I closed my eyes and I asked myself, what reward was I getting from my smoking? The answer was fabulous. It made me feel like I have a friend with me. So my loneliness being fulfilled was the reward I'm getting from it. So you ask yourself, what's the reward that you get from it? Once you identify the root cause, which is the trigger and the reward, then you can start rewiring your brain. Simple NLP practices, simple therapy normally helps with this. The second element over here is the power of awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. And yeah, listen to that again. You can't change what you don't notice. How do you notice something? To become aware, hyper aware of your habits. This journal that you're making your notes in, you can also use your phone. A lot of us today are so handy with our phone. You have a notepad, you have a journal. Use your phone, your tablet, your iPad, your laptop, whatever. I yet like old school because journaling is a very therapeutic act. I have other videos on that you can watch. What do you become aware of? When and where does this habit happen? I'm not calling it bad. Look at it. I'm refraining from calling this habit bad. When and where does this habit happen? How are you feeling at the time this habit happens? It could be binge watching. It could be scrolling endlessly through reels. What is the time that this happens? Is there a pattern that you're noticing? What thoughts go through your mind before you act? Now, this is awareness, the awareness to understand this. Let me tell you a quick story over here. A friend of mine wanted to stop biting his nails. And whenever he realized, he said, Hitesh, I'm 32 years old, and I notice I'm keeping on biting my nails. So I said, when did you realize this? He says, when I realized that there were red marks near my, I don't know what you call them, cuticles, I don't know what you call them. There were red marks. Then I asked him to do these activities. He started paying attention. He realized when he was anxious or fearful, he bit his nails. By becoming aware of the trigger in this case was being anxious or fearful. If he was scared and outside, he didn't do it. But if he was sitting at home and alone, this was the trigger. So he made a note. He became aware of all of those aspects. What we worked with him was first to become aware, then to replace the habit with something that was probably healthier. So his first step was to get a stress ball. That really helped him. He came back saying, Hitesh, this stress ball has changed my life. Then he went on a spree. He bought 5-6 different colors. He bought a slightly bigger one if he was more stressed. That worked fabulously for him. The other thing that he was able to do was pause and take a few deep breaths. Once he stopped biting his nails, he moved to the stress ball. The next thing I moved him on to was a simple breath work. No closing your eyes, no meditation. You're stressed? Do this. Mentally repeating in, out. In, out. What this does, it sort of brings your attention to your breath, to your prana, to your life. Brings about a sense of calmness within you. Remember, awareness isn't about judging yourself. It's about understanding who you are and understanding yourself. Let's move to the next part. What are the practical strategies for breaking bad habits? Let's get into hardcore action items. What we're going to talk about is 3 powerful strategies to break bad habits and create long-lasting change. First one, make it difficult. Yeah, it's normally the answer is always on the other end. Bad habits thrive on convenience. If you want to stop snacking on junk food, don't keep it in your house. I did that. I stopped buying cigarettes. I stopped buying junk food. I have put a timer on my Instagram. 15 minutes, it locks me out in the day. Make it difficult. If you're trying to reduce screen time, keep your phone in another room. Use apps that limit your usage. The harder it is to indulge in the habit, the less likely you'll be able to do it. Replace, don't remove. What happens is there is in this universe, in the world that we live in, there is no vacuum. Have you ever sensed a vacuum on this planet? No. When you remove something, you leave an empty vacuum for it. Our brain doesn't like vacuum. Of course, it shouldn't, right? This whole planet has no vacuum. So we replace, we don't remove. Instead of stopping the habit, replace it with a a healthier or a different alternative. For example, if you want to quit smoking, start by chewing gum or taking deep breaths when you crave it. Or if you want to stop binge watching content, replace it by reading a book, going for a walk, reset your Netflix password. Ask a friend of yours, set a password that I don't know. Okay? And all of these things will help. Third, start small, celebrate wins. This is something that I find funny that most of us don't do. It's so magical, yet we forget to do it. We don't celebrate our wins. We think, no, if I celebrate my wins, I will be boasting. How can I boast? How can I talk bad? Breaking a habit doesn't happen overnight. Focus on the small victories. If you're trying to cut sugar, start by reducing one sugar drink a day. Celebrate the progress no matter how small it feels. How will you celebrate? No, you don't celebrate by ordering a cake. You celebrate by patting yourself. You take this hand of yours. This is something I learned and it's beautiful. Pick up your hand, stretch it out, turn it 90 degrees and pat yourself on the back. Celebrate your small victories. Feel good about them. Put an Instagram post about it. Tell your friends that today I cut it down. Your true circle are the one that supports you. If your friend says, oh, what rubbish, instead of 2 you had 1, but you yet had 1. That's not your true circle. At Joining Hands, we created a community that supports. If you'd like to join us, check out the captions below. Now, let's do a quick recap. Breaking bad habits isn't about willpower. It's about understanding your triggers, becoming aware of your patterns, and taking small, consistent steps towards change. If you find it really difficult to deal with certain habits, there's always a therapist or an energy worker who can help you. Here's a challenge for you. Pick one habit you want to break. Spend the next week tracking when, where, why it happens. Then try the strategies that I've discussed today in the video. If you find the video helpful, then share it with someone who's also working on breaking habits that they want to change. Don't forget to subscribe for more strategies like this. Remember, the key to lasting change isn't perfection, it's progress. I wish you all the best and all the love from my heart so that you're able to overcome these so-called bad habits, and always remember to celebrate small victories. Thank you so much for watching.